Let's talk about the process of giving increases to your employees based on their performance. That process would be really easy if every employee received the same percent increase to their base pay every year, but that's just not how the real world works. And often, to make it even more complicated, organizations want to give managers some discretion about how those increases are allocated. And that can be a really positive thing. The downside of all those points is that it makes a tedious process from an administrative standpoint. But let me show you what Compies does to make that process so much easier. You have the ability with Compies to allow your managers to log in and make changes and recommendations about increases for their employees. That means you don't have to put it into a spreadsheet, email it off, make sure it's secure, get the data back, put it back into some other spreadsheet. You don't have to go through that process. You can automate this process. I'll show you what it looks like. When a manager logs in, she's going to have access to all of the employees that report to her. In this case, we're going to choose Sean. Now, Sean, because of parameters that the HR administrator has put into the application, Sean's eligible for a 3.5% increase. It's probably based on his performance. It may also be based on his compa ratio if you want that to be included as well. Well, maybe the supervisor says, I want Sean to actually get a higher increase than that. Now, you can see that I have some discretionary amount as a manager that I can play with. I'm going to change Sean and give him an extra 1% increase to his base pay. As I do that, the amount of discretionary funds that I have to give to my employees for their merit pay has decreased. So it does the math for your managers. And they can then allocate the other $1,600 or so across their other employees if they deem that appropriate. Now, here's another situation. You may have a manager who's really like Sean, and so they want to give him a 20% increase. Well, of course, there are checks and balances built into this process so that funds don't get increased beyond what they should be. There are other ways to set this up. There are a lot of ways to kind of play with this tool to automate your processes. But I'm not going to give them to you all right now. I'm going to end the video so that you can go and earn your own merit pay that you've been working so hard for. But when it comes time to calculate that merit increase and run those numbers, you give us a call. Compies will make this process a lot easier on you. Thanks for watching, and thanks for using Compies.